So welcome back, guys. We're gonna do a quick little modification today. I'm actually gonna replace the front speakers with some upgraded speakers. I have the Trail Boss, but it does not have the upgraded, I think it's Bose sound system. So I'm just gonna do the front speakers today. If these work pretty good, I'll do the rear speakers at a later date. They're basically the same process. I also have some sound deadening that I'd used on my WRX. So as I take the door card out, I'll replace or I'll put some of that sound deadening behind the door card. It should help a little bit just with any rattles, which there's not really many rattles, or I haven't heard much behind the door cards, but if there is any that happens from removing the door card or from the new speakers, that should help negate it or help keep it from happening. So let's get started. It's a very simple process. It looks like there's maybe around 4 bolts and some clips. I'll walk you through the process. I'm gonna use a 9/32 socket. You can use a 7mm socket, they're equivalent. I'll show you where those bolts are, that's where we'll start, and I'll show you how to remove the door card and that whole process, and also how to put dynamite or any type of various sound deadening behind the door and where to put it, where I'm gonna put it. You may wanna put it somewhere different, you may put less, you may put more, but this is how I'm gonna go about it. Should be rather simple, let's dive right into it. So if you're at your door card, you're gonna start right here. As you know, right here's your door handle. There's this little piece right here, it's rubber. You just pull up on it, really simple. There is 2 7mm or 9/32 bolts right here. I didn't have access to 7mm for some reason, but I did have access to 9/32. So let's go ahead and remove these two first. I will probably just walk you through one side of this because the other side should be the exact same. I have not done the other side. This is the first side I've done, so this is new to me, and you'll see my errors as I make them. So here's the first bolt. From what I've done on previous cars, this is not a hard process. Somewhat time constraining, but not too hard. Okay, there's those 2 bolts removed. Then we will move down here. Right at the well, I'll show you where it's at. So we're coming down from where we were, and directly down below, there's 2 more. Let me point up here if I can. There's the first one, and there's the second one. Those are the only 4 bolts you'll need to remove. So, let me point you back where I'm at. I'm hand holding this, so I know it might be a little bit unstable. I'm gonna go ahead and put you down because here in a second, I'm probably gonna have to hold this door card as I try to remove it. And I'll show you what other tool that we'll use to help kind of pry this door card loose from the clips. One second, I'll be right back. All right, so that didn't fall down, that's good. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna have a panel tool remover, something like this. Yours may look different, it'd be a different color. They make different sizes. This one's been used quite a bit. Different softnesses or different, hardnesses, whatever. You can use this. First, I'm gonna start off with just trying to see exactly if I have to actually, how much of it I have to use, because it may be rather simple to pull out. Sometimes some of these are, some of them are not. Sometimes you need these. I'm gonna set you up on a stand and then we'll get started on this. One second, I'll be right back. All right, as I mentioned, of course, we're gonna start on this door card, and it should not be that difficult at all. We'll start at the top and go around. Well, I don't even know if we have to start up there, so let's start down here actually, because that part's a different piece. Let's see here. Yeah. It's a little bit harder than I anticipated, to be honest. Might have to use the, oh, right, here we go. Here's the clips up top. So you want to start up at top, actually. There's the first clip. That's not too bad. Then I would imagine you move around. That's definitely loose up here. Well, that was a little bit easier or a little harder than I should have anticipated. I'll do the other side for you just so you can see it. But you do have to pry pretty hard, but it did come loose. Now, the object, I guess, is to disconnect your handle up here and then remove the door panel, essentially. So, I'm not sure if you go, I'm gonna have to look here and see. I'm gonna look underneath the door to see if you can actually see where you disconnect it from actually before you take the whole thing off. So give me a second. It's gonna be a little bit wet. So what I'm gonna try to do is actually remove the door panel. See if I can remove it and then try to disconnect it. Still got some more clips up here. Okay. And it pulls up. Okay. Yeah, you can see where it connects back on the back, and it's hard to really show you this, but I'm able to get to it, maybe. Okay, let me try to bring you around here. Let me pause it for a second. I'll bring you around. This is what I'm working with right here. Again, I don't know if you can see it very well. There's a clip. Here's your door release, and here's a clip. So you're supposed to be able to release this, and it's supposed to be able to come loose. So, like that. And there it goes. That wasn't too bad. Now you have to disconnect the rest of your door panel right here. This is your speaker. And I'm sure your locks too. Okay, there's that one. And this is your main harness for your door. I guess for all these, your switch panel. Okay, you pull down that red clip, then you pull the white clip back. And it should release. And that does. And there you go. There's your door card off. And we just remove it to the side. I'll pause you, be right back. Add full disclosure before I start removing this. It's always advisable to disconnect your battery, and I didn't. But again, this is not something that has high voltage. I took a risk, but I think it's gonna be okay. I'll test this one before I move to the next one to make sure everything's okay. But if you want to disconnect your battery, absolutely go for it. So what I'm gonna do next is remove the speaker, the stock speaker. So it looks like it's one. Looks like it's just one. No. Yeah. 1 7mm bolt. So we'll remove it. And I'd imagine it should come out. We'll see. It might be held in with something else. Maybe some clips. We will find out together. Make sure you save this bolt. I think the kit that came with it from Crutchfield does not replace it, but we're going to find out and see. Okay, let's see if there's something else holding this thing in. Okay, there's a clip at the very bottom. Let's see if I can show it to you. It's just the way the actual mount's made. It's got this right here that goes inside the door. that explains the new kit, or the kit that actually goes in here. It has this as well. I was kind of curious about it. So this has a connector at the very bottom right here. Let me see if I can somehow back you up just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, I'm sorry that this is kind of going every which way. Okay, it's right here. So you just pop it back and you should be able to just pull it right out once you pop it back. And there you go. And there's a clip right here that connects to it just to hold the wire steady. Let's see if I can just pull it out. We want to keep this wire, of course, because we have a new harness to replace or to go into this. Usually a lot of these kits will come with like some foam stuff to go around the back side of this, but this one did not. So I'm just going to quickly put some just sound deadener where I'm not going to put any of these screws that it came with. And FYI, I went to go ahead and disconnected the negative on the battery. Whenever I disconnected the speaker, the tweeter started making a noise. So again, I don't think there was any damage. I don't think it caused any problems, but that was kind of concerning. So anyways, make sure you disconnect your negative battery terminal. It's a very simple 10 millimeter and it's not too bad to do. So let's go ahead and get some sound deadener put on the back side of this so the speaker won't vibrate. Then we'll get it screwed down with the supplied screws from Kicker. And this mount, it came from Crutchfield. Usually Crutchfield's really good about supplying everything you need. And they did, they supplied the harness, they supplied, you know, the mount, all that good stuff, but just not the foam. They usually typically do, but regardless, we have some things to take care of that. And then I'll just quickly put some sound deadening on some of these exposed white parts. This right here is already sound dead. This, I guess, sound deadening material. I'm not gonna mess with this too much or put anything over top of this. Just the white metal I'll cover with some sound deadening really quickly, so it's covered up. And then we'll, you know, put it back together and I'll do the other side. And so let's get this done. All right, so you can see we actually got the speaker in the mount. Okay, so I got the sound deadening behind it. It may not be the prettiest thing, but it's gonna be covered. And it looks like it's gonna keep it from, you know, making any type of vibrations. And I also went ahead and put the harness in. There is a positive and a negative, and that is the pigtail that will go back in the original harness. Okay, so that part's done. So next, I'm gonna put the sound deadening around the speaker, the hole here first. And I'll go ahead and put the speaker back in, and then I'll put some sound deadening, like I said, around the white space. So let me go ahead and get some sound deadening around this hole right here, and then I'll go ahead and get the other sound deadening on, and we'll get it buttoned back up. And I want to add, this does not necessarily have to be pretty. It's actually just functional. So keep that in mind. It is just functional. It doesn't have to be pretty. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, so we're about ready to put the speaker back in and kind of continue with the job. But keep in mind when you're doing this to keep away from anything that's going to have a grommet or a clip go back into it, or you're going to have a difficulty with the clip going back in and having some clearance. So let's go ahead and get the speaker back in, hook it back up, and then we'll kind of get it screwed back in. There's only one screw for it. Make sure the mount gets correctly in there and the speaker wire's in there correctly. And then, like I said, we'll get it buttoned back up. I'm going to try to turn you so y'all can see me do this, if you can. So it should just connect back in pretty easily, since this is a stock wire or a replacement harness. And it does click back in there nicely. Red clip goes back in. Sadly though, it does not have a place for your clip on this aftermarket plate or this replacement. It shouldn't move around much. I think it's going to be okay. It's not going to bang around much in there. So we are going to put it back in there as is. Make sure everything kind of lines back up, as said. Make sure it's in there correctly before you screw it in. And double check one thing, make sure that this doesn't go back in. I can't remember. Yeah, that's the way it goes. And now we put our screw back in the top. It's gonna be a little bit tighter going back in because they're sound deadener, but it's not too tight. And then remember, this is a 7 millimeter. They're all, or If you used a 9/32, it's 9/32. Okay, and there that is. All right, so let's kind of get the rest of the sound deadening on, and then we'll get the cover or the door card back on. Let's pick back up here in a minute. I'm just gonna give full disclosure. My coverage area is gonna be super elementary, but honestly, it's gonna be good. I'm actually put one more piece here, maybe a piece here. I use one whole piece or one sheet of sound mat, and I think it'll be okay. Again, I just want to get a little bit better coverage or a little bit more sound deadening. It wasn't ever really that bad for me. This stuff actually works pretty good. I'm sure y'all have heard of the rattle on the door. There's these little clips right here that can cause some rattle. So right here, if you listen, the rattle, there's not much rattle there anymore. So especially with those bolts put in, that'll be completely gone for any rattle that there was. But I'm gonna put just a couple more pieces here, and maybe a little piece right there, maybe something right there. And then I'm gonna call that good and do the next door. But I'm gonna put this back on. The process shouldn't be bad. That piece might be a little bit of a struggle. Putting these back in ain't gonna be any issue whatsoever. That's plug and play. But this right here, I'll let you know how that goes, or I'll try to show you how that goes. We'll see. But let's put a couple more pieces of sound deadening and be done with this. All right, so I'm ready to put this back together. Always make sure that you have all your clips in place. There's 9 on this door, so make sure none of them fell out or you haven't lost any. These are actually pretty sturdy. Now, there's some cars that the clips will fall out the door as you pull them out. Again, make sure you haven't covered up anything in your process of trying if you're dynamatting or this stuff's actually called Kilomat. You probably won't be able to find that anymore. They don't sell it. At least I don't imagine they do. I ordered it from Amazon, gosh, about 5 or 6 years ago. But anyways, let's try to put this door card back on and see how it goes. So we're gonna try to start at the top here and hang it from the window section. That seems like the easiest way because you can actually put it there and hang it. It'll hang from the actual seal, maybe. Well, first, actually, let's try to put our door back together, I guess, or this back into the door, into the lock. That shouldn't be too bad. It wasn't bad to get out, but going back in may be a different story. Okay. I got the thing back in. Let's see. I wish I could show you an angle of how to do it. Hold on one second. I'll show you how I done it if I get it in there. Okay. All right. Maybe I can show you here because this is the hard part. Okay. Right here, there is a ball. If you can see, there's a ball that, let me try that. So you'll pull out, or well, I hate to take it back out, but I will for you guys. So you'll pull it out here and you take that around and you pull that ball out, okay? See if I can get that in an angle, okay? Put it back in, you put this back in here and you push this in and you pull it back until it reaches and it clips. And that is your door, or your handle, so it'll actually release. So now we'll hook everything else back up and put the door back in, and that includes, let's see if I can show you this down here to these harnesses right there. I'll be right back once I get everything hooked and hanged. All right, so it's back in there. Now you just gotta put your, 9/32 7mm bolts back in the door handle, then below. You go around the perimeter of the door, make sure they all click in. As you can see, it all clicks in. I'm gonna make sure that this works. It does, you can hear it. If you pull, it does. So all that works, that's good. So let's get these bolted back down. And this door is essentially done. Next we'll do the other side. if there was something I missed, I think I might have missed something. I'll do the other side and I'll show you it. It's clouding up a little bit, so I want to get the other side down as quick as possible. But let me get this bolted back up. So I finished the install of the speakers. It wasn't too bad. The last door was actually quite a bit easier than the door I started on. I guess it's just because I actually done it once already. Same procedure, just different side. Rears are supposed to be similar, about the same. The mount's just a little bit different. I'll probably do the rears in the future. These speakers, again, I got them from Crutchfield. They're in the state of Virginia. I think the warehouse is, or the main factory is, whatever it is, where they drop ship them from. So it took me one day to get them from the factory. They were relatively cheap. I mean, I think they're like $70 for, you know, 2 speakers. Not bad for a good, you know, sound quality. So if you want to pick up some, I'll put a link in the description below, or just a link to Crutchfield, because there's so many speakers and, you know, different types of sounds. It just depends on what you're looking for. I don't really have a preference. I just got one that had a decent rating. That's how I really went with it. Again, I don't really want anything super great sounding in the truck, just something a little bit better than factory. And also it was informative for you all of how to explain the step-by-step procedure of how to install these. But anyways, until next time, we'll try to do some more reviews, some more how-tos. If there's anything else that you all like to see about an install, just let me know. See ya.